Cool stuff to show you today that came out of this stack of boxes here. Let's check it out. So this is Vampires of New Jersey, issue number 2. Last month, I was on a trip to the mainland in October, visiting my family, and I was stopping in different comic shops on the trip. One of the comic shops I stopped in was Ron's Comic World in Mount Holly, New Jersey, and they had Vampires of New Jersey on the shelf. This is Vampires of New Jersey, issue number 4. An homage cover, obviously, to Batman the Dark Knight #1. And I picked up issue 1, brought it home with me and read it. I really enjoyed it. And I couldn't find it anywhere else. I was checking online. So I called the comic shop and asked if they would ship me the remaining issues, and they did. Here's Vampires of New Jersey, issue number 5. It's got a werewolf riding a motorcycle about to go over a drawbridge. Pretty cool cover there. The story is really good. It's what's really interesting about it is that this group of vampires in New Jersey is kind of like a mafia group, like Sopranos or something like that. And then just as there are different battling crime syndicates in the mafia world, here, there's different syndicates, but one is the Vampires of New Jersey in Newark, and then there's the Werewolves of Brooklyn, and then the Witches of Westwick, I think. And then there's an interesting underlying story. Here's issue number 6 that was also shipped to me in that stack from Ron's Comic World, and the most current issue, issue number 7. So this was really good. I read it and really enjoyed them. I'm going to be looking out for more of these, and shout out to Ron's Comic World who sent those to me. Here is an issue from Archie Comics. This is Kevin #1, which in reality is Veronica #207. But this is a new character they introduced a couple of years ago. And then they gave him his own short run, starting in Veronica with #207. This is a variant cover, which I really liked because, one, it's the new character. It's not his first appearance, but this is like his first series, so to say, even though it's under Veronica. But the variant of the old style Archie cover, that was really cool. So I picked that up for a couple of bucks. I got a couple of Christmas comic books. This one is actually a Classics Illustrated giveaway from 1969. It's got a beautiful cover there. This one was given away by Stacy's Department Store in Savannah, Illinois, Savannah. And one of the things about these giveaways, there's usually a lot of like puzzle pages, and the back covers are pretty neat too. So I was able to pick this one up, and this one, it says Santa's Surprise, but this is actually a March of Comics issue. This is March of Comics number 13 from 1947. And March of Comics was published by, I think it was Western Publishing Company, and it ran for a very long time, from 1946 to 1982. There were 488 issues. They don't have issue numbers on the cover. They don't have prices on the cover because these were giveaways. And so these were giveaways usually through like department stores and shoe stores and things like that. Sears, I think, gave them away when you shopped in the store. They give these to the children. And so there were a lot of these made. Sometimes 500,000 issues were produced, but they're kind of hard to find because they were given to children. They were giveaways, so they were thrown out a lot. So this one's in pretty low grade, but I got it for a decent price. And I really do like the cover image. I like the silhouette of Santa crossing the moon, the white snow, and the style of these people walking through the snow kind of look like Russian aristocrats to me. It's got a great back cover too, but this is in a golden age size bag. I don't have those clear boards for the back. I got a couple of promo comics. This one is The Water, Giver of Life, which is the history of how mankind has used water. And what's really cool about this one, most of the ones I've seen, these are promos, giveaways. And what's really cool about this one is that sticker that's on it, because that says Pumps, Parts, and Well Supplies, Frank D. Curley in Freeport, New York. So that's kind of cool that a service that dealt with water gave this away, and has that sticker on it. And on the back, it talks about raw water is dangerous, about purifying water. Fun to read, and just an interesting comic that's out there. I grabbed this one. This is the Cootie Bug, the Friendly Cootie Bug. It's a mini comic, you can see, right? Because it's in a bag and board there. And this is from 1956. And how many of you played the game of Cootie? So part of the reason I got this is because when I was a child, my sisters, my brother, and I used to play this game Cootie, which actually was my mother's game. My grandmother had it at her house from when my mother was a child, and we used to play that game. You roll the dice and you try to build this bug. There's different parts in there. So that was really cool. That's a comic book. It's got a story on one page telling the story of the Cootie Bug. And the other pages are like advertisements for other games that this company, WH Shaper Manufacturing Company, made. Another promo comic I recently got was Eager Beaver, Story of the Wheel. It's from 1963. And it tells about the story of the wheel from the beginning, when it was invented, and then it talks about chariots and Conestoga wagons and what do you call those? Stagecoaches and trains, and up until modern cars. This was a giveaway by City Service, the gas station. I got a lot of comics. I purchased a lot from one seller because there were two particular comics in there that the seller had I had been looking for, and there was a 15% off sale, and there was no added shipping to add comics. So I wound up getting, I don't know, about 6 or 7 comics, even though they were just 2 originally I was trying to get. I did get this issue of Scotland Yard. There's a few issues in this run. I have a couple of them. They're not easy to find. I mean, they're out there, but finding them for a decent price. This one has a detached cover, so it was pretty inexpensive, but I was glad to find that one. Looks like he's at a locker in possibly a train station. I'll have to look at that closer. Got another issue of Gorgo. I like these Gorgos. I like the covers better than the stories, but in this particular story, there is a Soviet submarine, so that's pretty cool. And then the seller had some of the American Comic Group, ACG. So here's Kilroy's. This is the only issue of Kilroy's I have. Most of the ACG I have are the science fiction ones, but this was not too expensive, so I just grabbed this to see what Kilroy's was about. And then I did get some of the sci-fi ones, like Adventures into the Unknown. Now, what's cool about this one is there's a stamp here, and this comic book at one time had been in Italy, because it says Napoli down there, Casa del Giornale, and it's got the address in Napoli. This comic is in bad shape. It needs to be pressed, but it was cheap, and that's really cool. And then another one I got was an issue of Forbidden Worlds. This is issue number 140. Pretty cool cover there with the purple and the cap, the breaking window, the glass. So I grabbed these. I like the ACG stories, the sci-fi and horror stories. And I got one more ACG, which I had never seen before. I didn't know about this title, but Operation Peril, which was their war story. And that's got a tank that's about to run over some communists there. I picked up Dick Tracy and Scotty of the Scotland Yard. This is an oversized comic, and it's a reprint from the Chicago Tribune, cardstock covers, and it looks like it's all black and white inside, and it almost looks like newspaper strips. It may be from newspaper strips, or it may be a reprint of a comic book. I'm not sure about that. Maybe it is a reprint, but maybe the original comic was just newspaper strips. That's what it kind of looks like in there. Dick Tracy, one of my favorites from my childhood, The Phantom, Dick Tracy, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Flash, Batman. Those were the ones I gravitated towards. So this was pretty cool to have this. And then the two comics that I really wanted to grab was this Ha Ha Comics, number 57. Love that cover. Funny animals, scouts, waiting on a train track with a train station in the background. This is in great condition. It's got a little, right down here where my finger is, got a little corner missing there. But other than that, this is a really high grade comic. It's solid. So really happy to have this one. And then the main one I was hunting was this one, Ideal Classical Comics number 2, The Corpses of Dr. Sakoti. This is a timely comic. You can't tell that by the cover. There's no price there. There's no mark that says it's timely comics, but almost the whole comic book is this story. It's a long story. It's got 3 chapters, and then there's like one page. There's some couple of pages of advertisements, and then there's one page at the end, which is like a one-page whodunit, and the last panel is written upside down. So you got to turn the comic book over to figure out how that crime was solved. So that was all from a seller, and then I picked this one up individually. My friend Mike Smith, Night Tiger Comics on YouTube and Instagram, pointed this one out to me. He knows that I like covers with trains on them, and when he's looking for, comics for his collection, if he sees some with trains, he shouts them out to me. So he pointed this one out to me, and I was able to pick this one up. Adventure Comics 186 with Superboy stopping the train to help that kid stuck on the track. I had not seen this one before, and when Mike showed this to me, I was really excited to try to win that at auction, and I did. That's a cool train cover. Here's another True Vision comic. I'm seeking these out, as you know, if you've watched my videos. I think there's about 18 or 20, I can't remember. ACG made these quote unquote 3D comics in True Vision with the black borders, popping colors, and the drawings, the illustrations stuck out into the black borders. So this is an issue of Lovelorn. I'm really excited to have found this one because it's a great looking cover. It's the True Vision, and there are 6 romance ACG issues that have the True Vision, and these have been the tougher ones for me to find, but now I have 3 of the 6, 2 of the 3 Lovelorns plus 1 romantic adventures. So I grabbed that one. The next stack of comics was a lot that I picked up. It's got some cool comics in it, and there were some particular ones, as a lot, there were quite a few that I was interested in or looking for, and some that just kind of adding to the collection. Here's one, Crime Does Not Pay, number 107. This is not one of the ones I was greatly interested in, but it's pretty cool. And this is a Lev Gleason publication, Charles Biro, I'm not sure, I think it's Biro. The art, it's very noticeable on these covers, Charles's art. And these are low, most of these are pretty low grade. This has tape on the spine. But there was another, Crime Does Not Pay. It's got a nice date stamp. This is number 130, a 10-cent comic, Crime Does Not Pay. A nice date stamp up there in the C. And then there were a couple of issues of Justice Traps the Guilty. This one, very low grade, but pretty cool. I like how the background of the city is in that yellow and green or yellow and bluish tone, and everything else in the foreground is popping in color. That's pretty cool. Then there was another issue of Justice Traps the Guilty, which I was glad to have. This is a train on the cover. I do have a copy of this issue, which is extremely beat up. So having this as part of the lot when I wanted some of the other comics was really cool. So I'm going to upgrade to this one in my PC. And then one of my favorite Golden Age series, which I've been trying to build for several years, is T-Man. So that is Agent Pete Trask, and he's a treasury man. And this is issue number 12, 10-cent comic, Terror in Tokyo. So he's a federal agent, and he's traveling around the world protecting the interests of the US, mostly against communists. So most of these stories are anti-communist stories. They've got some great art and some great stories. And this is, I would say this series is probably my favorite Golden Age series. I really enjoy reading these and trying to hunt them down and complete the collection in the PC. Here's another issue. This is issue number 18. And this one, he's jumping out of a train there. Death rides the rails. You got the east zone of Germany. So, you know, the Berlin Wall, he's near the Berlin Wall. Somebody up here wrote in T-Man, in each thing, it says, "I love you, my darling." So maybe this was a gift to a comic book reader from his wife or girlfriend or something like that. There's Pete Trask. I love the T-Man, so I was happy to get those two issues. So I got the Justice Traps the Guilty with the train cover upgrade. I got those two issues. And then this was one of the ones that I really wanted as well, which is Undercover Girl, Star Flag. And so this is really beat up. I mean, you can see right here, you could see that the cover doesn't reach the end because it had been split here and the previous owner had taped it together. So it's not sitting right. There's some tape here. I had to add a piece of archival tape here because they had tape underneath, and in that hole it was sticking. So I had to cover it with another piece of tape. So very low grade. And some previous owner basically started cutting her eyes out. I don't know if you could see that. And they did cut out part of her chest there. So the cover is not in great shape, but it's complete and everything inside is good to go. So I was really happy to have this one in that lot as well. So I think I did pretty good. This is a Star Flag, Undercover Girl, and this is Magazine Enterprises. She debuted in Manhunt #1. And then she ran, I think, for 11 issues in Manhunt, a couple of issues of Trail Cult she was in. Then she was in a couple of more issues of Manhunt, which were reprints. And then they tried her out on her own, and she got 3 issues. This is the middle issue of the one that she had on her own. Great cover. That's a Bob Powell cover. And the stories inside are believed to be credited to Gardner Fox and Ogden Whitney art. So that is a low grade, but happy to have it in my collection, copy of Undercover Girl, Star Flag number 6. And so that's it for the comics. I do have one other thing I'd like to show you. In addition to reading comic books and collecting comic books, I like sci-fi. And I was doing a puzzle recently, maybe a crossword puzzle, and the answer that came up was Van Vogt, V-A-N-V-O-G-T, and said that he was a famous sci-fi author. I'd never heard of it. My favorite is Isaac Asimov and the Foundation stories that he wrote. But I did a little research on Van Vogt, and I found out that basically he is credited with starting the golden age of sci-fi stories with a story that he published in Astounding Science Fiction in July of 1939 called Black Destroyer. And then several months later, in December of 39, there was a follow-up story called Discord and Scarlet, which continues the Black Destroyer, which was also published in Astounding Science Fiction. And what's interesting about these two stories is that basically the movie Alien, there was a lawsuit from Van Vogt, and Van Vogt, I'm not sure how to say his name, but there was a lawsuit against the makers of the Ridley Scott movie that they stole his idea. So apparently Black Destroyer and Discord and Scarlet are the stories that inspired the franchise movies Alien. So I'm interested in reading those. So I searched it up and I found this issue of Astounding Science Fiction from December 1939. And you can see down here, it says Discord and Scarlet. That's the story I want to read in here. And it's by A.E. Van Vogt. And so I found this. I also found, it hasn't arrived yet, but I also found the July 1939 issue, but not the original issue. It's a facsimile reprint, which is fine by me. I just want to read the stories. But since that other issue is credited, that other issue is credited as being the start of the golden age of science fiction in these magazines, that one's pretty pricey if you try to find your original one. So I'm really happy that the facsimile is out there, and I'm looking forward to getting that one so I could read that story and then read this one. And as well, I don't collect these pulp magazine, these science fiction magazines, but they always do have great covers, don't they? Look, that's really pretty cool. So, my friends, I hope that you enjoyed watching these unboxings with me. And if you can do me a favor and like and subscribe to the channel and share it with other comic addicts who like to see unboxings, I would appreciate it. Bye-bye.